Hey everybody, good evening. This is Tanetta, your relationship coach or Speak Your Truth. And I want to make sure I got this video done for you all this evening. It's going to be talking about sex, actually. So, of course, let's talk about sex. I was doing this video for a few different reasons, but I definitely want to make sure that you all knew that talking about sex, of course, we all know that it's, of course, a taboo topic, and we don't talk about it enough. It seems like we all, not all of us, maybe a lot of us, of course, have sex and that kind of thing, and have sex all kind of ways, but we don't want to, of course, talk about it, the education behind it, the information behind it, in order to pass it along to our younger generations either. So like I said, that's what this conversation today is going to be about. I know this is the third Sunday in the month, I guess, of January. So like I said, definitely this is going to be, I'm sure, an interesting conversation. And I hope that you all can walk away with some things to think about when it comes to your own sex life. And of course, if you have children or any youth in your household or youth that you're around, or if you're a teacher or a social worker like I am as well, that you're going to, of course, start having these conversations with those children and youth, of course, age appropriate and that kind of thing. But like I said, that's always been a concern of mine, I guess I put it that way. So that's why I definitely want to make sure we came on tonight and, of course, talked about sex. So for one, like I said, a lot of times we, of course, have sex, but we just don't talk about it. I know many adults, of course, including myself, were, of course, was not raised to talk about sex. It was taboo in the household. If you asked anything about it, your parents looked at you crazy or don't bring that up or that kind of thing. Even though we have sex or have masturbated, of course, as kids or as youth or whatever age it was, and of course having sex as adults, like I said, it seems like it's just taboo and it's just a shameful situation. You shouldn't talk about it, that kind of thing as well. So like I said, that's where this conversation is coming from. Many of us were not educated about our bodies and what happens during puberty, which includes, of course, hair growth. For women, I guess, the young girls, our periods, that kind of thing. And, of course, masturbation as well, like I just talked about. Like I said, a lot of things we're not educated about. I know it comes down to our parents, our school, and sometimes, I guess, if you're in a church or have some type of religion or spirituality or whatever it is, they rarely would talk to you. Well, they'll tell you a few things, I'm sure. Maybe about the birds and the bees, or at school, of course, I got the little video. I don't think I was like in 5th or 6th grade, and some of you all probably can identify with this as well. And thank you, Nathan and Andre, for tuning in. Then we got that little video about, of course, well, the girls were separated from the boys, is how our school went. Of course, the girls got a video talking about, of course, it talked about our, general body parts, I guess I put it that way. Like the female body parts, like breast and the vagina, all that kind of stuff, just general things. It never actually talked about, of course, it talked about periods. I'm trying to see if it actually showed us how, I think it did demonstrate, of course, how to put pads on, all these kind of things as well. And of course, you're going to have hair in different parts of your body now, that kind of thing. But it never actually talked about the act of sex or how it goes or what it's supposed to entail, that kind of thing. Yes, you knew that a vagina and a penis at some point, it may have not been in 5th or 6th grade, you may have known, I don't know. But for most, of course, it came a little bit later, how sex actually happens. Like I said, the main thing that I got was more about abstinence. It was more about STDs and STIs and, of course, how you can get pregnant. That was the only thing that, of course, it seems like it was just to shun us away from, of course, wanting to even experience sex or talk about sex or even have any fun with sex, I guess I put it that way. And yes, I know I'm saying that. I know in 5th and 6th grade we're not talking about having fun with sex, but at some point, growing up, going through high school, we never talked about it again. So you never got that education about what you can do with sex, I guess I put it that way. And how it's not shameful and how abstinence, of course, usually is not the way to go for youth and that kind of thing. But like I said, that's definitely a different conversation, but I just want you all to think about those kind of things and how that may have happened in your life. And of course, if you've had some interesting situations as far as when you were in grade school or high school or middle school that you want to put down below in the comments and how you all were taught about sex, definitely comment that down below as well. Then another thing, of course, we all know that, of course, those kids at some point, like I did, grew up, of course, as adults to, of course, still have questions about our bodies and questions about sex and how do you do the sex and how to experiment and all these kind of things. Like I said, we all grow up and having all those questions, or at least majority of us grew up having all those questions. And, of course, a lot of times, of course, we don't verbally speak about sex, talk about sex, that kind of thing, like I said before, because it's been so ingrained in us from society, from our parents, from the school district, from if you're in a religion, from your religion, about how sex is bad, we shouldn't do it, we got to abstain, all those kind of things. Like I said, a lot of people made it seem very shameful. You couldn't ask about your body, or it was an issue, or what you asked about about your vagina for, what do you need to know about this for, that kind of thing. You just really questioned and drilled about different things that you're like, okay, I have questions. I want to know what my body does, what's going on with it. I'm having this sensation, or I'm having this going on. I want to know what's going on, but nobody's really asking your questions. And like I said, growing up, I can only speak for myself. I'm sure there's others out there that may have had similar situations. Like I said, I didn't know, I knew about sex, I guess I put it that way. We all learn about sex from our friends in some different ways, whether it's wrong or right. Like I said, but we definitely learn about it. And like I said, as far as learning how to experiment, learning what's out there, learning what all the lifestyles are, all that kind of stuff going on. I know for some, of course, going to some of the ones I went to high school with, that kind of thing as well. I know everybody, I know people force the idea of course, the man has to be with the woman has to be with the man, that kind of thing. But I know damn well that some of those kids, of course, may not have wanted, I guess if they're a woman like me, then they may have wanted another woman, or that's what they were, I guess, more, that's what, of course, turned them on, I guess I put it that way. And that was never, like I said, talked about in school. And, of course, having us grow up thinking something's wrong with our bodies, or thinking because we think that we're a lesbian or we're gay, or I don't know, whatever it is, or we're trans or whatever it is. Like I said, definitely, like I said, that is definitely ingrained in us. That is definitely shameful. It's guiltful. It is a lot of guilt. We shouldn't feel the feelings that we feel. It's only a man and a woman together, that kind of thing, and it shouldn't be anything else. Like I said, that's definitely ingrained in our heads, even though we may have other feelings about other, like I said, sexual orientations. We may not know what it's called back then as kids in grade school and that kind of thing. But like I said, you definitely know what you like or what you don't like when you're in 5th, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, I guess, and going on. Some people may be bisexual, all kind of things going on. But like I said, those things are definitely shunned. And like I said, that's something that I want to make sure that we can, of course, bring more education. I know we're all adults, of course, here, but definitely bring some more education, some more enlightenment, I guess, in this group. I guess I put it that way. So like I said, that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about this. The next thing, of course, I have some notes down here because I had a lot of things I want to get in with you all. Of course, I know, like I said, all these issues going on with we're not being taught about sex, growing up as kids, then we, of course, grow up as adults and still have questions and don't know about I can't say all of us, but some of us don't know about our bodies and haven't had an orgasm and all these kind of things going on. And we still find it shameful to, of course, talk about that. But how do you start having these conversations? I just want to make sure that before I even get into anything about how to start having these conversations, that you all know, and that whoever's listening to this replay, that you know that it's okay to, of course, and that it's normal to, of course, think about sex, to want to have sex, anything along those lines. Also, that it's okay to, of course, want to experiment with sex and touch your body and see what feels good to you. Just keep that in mind, regardless of what your family may have said, regardless of what whoever, the teachers may have said, or whoever it was in school, whatever was going on. Just know that those things are okay. And thank you, Karen, for tuning in this evening. I hope you're doing well. And know that it's okay to also have fantasies, to have kinks, to have different fetishes about sex and the sexual lifestyles, anything that you can think of. Just know that that's okay. And just know that, I know, of course, we always talk about society and the norms and that kind of thing. But like I said, definitely just keep in mind that society, of course, the way you were raised, the environment that you're around, for a lot of us, of course, was responsible for, of course, making you feel like sex was bad, or it was so taboo and all those kind of things. We couldn't talk about it, but you could do it, I guess, behind closed doors, that kind of thing. But you definitely couldn't sit there and talk about it and educate yourself about it, or even the kids in the household, I guess I put it that way, was shunned upon as well. So how can we start getting more comfortable about talking about sex and anything dealing with sex? The first thing I always say to anybody, that's the main thing, what we have to start with. We have to start with ourselves. Yes, I know that we had, of course, that we or some of us or a lot of us may have had all the taboo pressed up on us, I guess, about the shamefulness and all the guilt about having sex or masturbation and all these kind of things. But just keep in mind, the conversation always starts with you, your inner conversation. And I did write down a few questions and a few things that you can kind of think about, I guess, as you go on throughout your days, and kind of how you view sex and those kind of things as well. But like I said, this conversation always starts with the individual person, regardless as to if you're single, regardless as to if you're in a committed relationship. It always starts with you. You have to know what your values and belief systems are around sex and anything dealing with sex. So I haven't, like I said, I had a few questions that I wrote down that I want you all to, of course, think about. And of course, the first one, or part of the first one, what do you think about sex, sex toys, sexuality, and the act of sex? Like I said, you definitely have to know what you feel about sex and how you want to see sex, how you want to do sex, whether you like sex toys, whether you want to try to use them, or whatever the case may be. And of course, what your sexuality is. Of course, if you identify as being, excuse me, as being straight or whatever the case may be, or bisexual, or whatever your orientation is, you have to, of course, recognize and realize that and come to your truth at some point. I guess I put it that way. I know I've talked to many, of course, who still, of course, are adults like me, sometimes they're older. You can, like I said, some that are younger and some that are older. And they're still, of course, scared to come out about their sexual orientation to themselves first, and then to their families and friends and all that kind of stuff, because they feel that they're going to be shunned and shamed and all these kind of things. Like I said, a lot of folks go through life, some die knowing that they're possibly gay or bisexual or wanted to live this other lifestyle or whatever it was. And like I said, we at some point have to learn how to give people that I guess their own voice and allow them to be who they want to be. I guess I put it that way. I know it's not ingrained in us to do that. I guess I'd say that. But like I said, at some point, we have to get there. And like I said, that definitely starts with us knowing what you think about sex, sex toys, sexuality, and the act of sex and all that kind of stuff. You have to ask yourself those things. The main thing that I love to write, I love to journal. That's, of course, one of the ways that I've healed and that kind of thing from a lot of things that's happened in the past. And, of course, I love to write. I've always loved to write. And like I said, if you need the journal, sit down, write these things out just to think about your views of sex, your beliefs about sex, and the way you value sex. Like I said, you definitely have to start getting that out some kind of way. Just do it with yourself. Talk about it. Well, have an inner conversation, I guess you could say, with yourself. And yes, verbally, if you want to talk to yourself, I do that as well. But like I said, definitely if the easiest way for you is to write it down so that you can remember and know what you, I guess, kind of thought about, know what your thoughts are, definitely feel free to do so. The next one was, what's been your experiences with sex, whether it's good or bad, and how have these things shaped your shape your thoughts and beliefs about sex? I know for me, of course, as growing up as a kid, I was sexually abused when I was like 3-4 years old. And like I said, that definitely shaped me, I guess, for a little moment, as far as not wanting certain touches, not wanting a guy to do this or that, whatever it was, until I got used to, well, I'm going to say I got used to, but I guess until I healed a lot from all that trauma. I guess I put it that way. I'm not here to talk about trauma, I guess, in depth, but like I said, definitely we have to think about those things when it comes to sex as well. Women, I know men, of course, are sexually abused as well. Some men and women are raped, that kind of thing as well. A lot of that stuff is very traumatizing. All that stuff is traumatizing. And of course, that, of course, is going to affect the way you view sex as an adult, as you're getting older, that kind of thing. So we definitely have to start thinking about those things as well. So like I said, definitely start thinking about your experiences, good or bad, and how they have shaped your life. And then you can also write down, of course, like I said, evaluate within yourself, what are your fantasies? What kind of kinks do you have? What kind of fetishes do you have? I know a lot of folks don't want to talk about these kind of things, or maybe shy to talk about it. Eventually, some will, of course, talk about it, because I've had some interesting conversations as well. But like I said, it just takes a lot sometimes for somebody to, of course, admit what they like. If you like to be tied up doing sex, or if you like to be spanked, or if you like whipped cream all over your body, or whatever it is doing sex. Like I said, some people, of course, are very ashamed and still to talk about that. But you have to find out where those things come from, and of course what you like. I guess I put it that way as well. Like I said, there's all kind of lifestyles out there. There's all kind of ways to live, to do sex, to live in communities with other partners, all kind of stuff going on. And like I said, you definitely have to view the ways that you, of course, have your fantasies. What are your kinks and your fetishes and things like that. And the one of the next ones I'm trying to see is, do you know how to give yourself an orgasm? Like I said, masturbation. A lot of times, of course, I'm sure as kids, that kind of thing, some people experiment with themselves, but some are told that, of course, you can't touch yourself, you can't do this, that kind of thing. Because I have talked to some who have never done that, I put it that way, or who've told me that they have never done that. And like I said, in order for you to know what feels good to you, you have to experiment with yourself. And like I said, I know that's one of the ways that you can, of course, learn more about your body and that kind of thing as well. You can do it in front of your partner if that's what you want to do. That's up to you. But like I said, definitely taking some time out, learning your body, knowing what feels good to you, and then being able to communicate that to your partner, or whenever you get into your next relationship or whoever you're around, that kind of thing is definitely important. So like I said, that conversation starts with us first. knowing that we have, of course, like I said, knowing that we have to have the inner conversation about about our beliefs and our values about sex. Let me see. Just to let you all know, of course, when I started this group, it's almost a year. I have to look at the month. I think it was in March or April of last year, one of those two, because I actually started this group and I actually stopped to shut it down for like a month and a half or so, and then I restarted it actually. So I have to get correct on my dates. But like I said, when I not just when I started this group, but I'm 44 years old. Back when I was actually in my 20s, I've always talked about, I don't know if anybody on this live stream have ever seen the show called Real Sex. It used to come on back in the day on HBO. I'm trying to see what else. It was the Bunny Ranch show used to come on about the guy that stayed in Vegas with the sex house and all these kind of things going on. But like I said, I used to watch Real Sex back in the day. I love that show. I love just learning about, like I said, different lifestyles, different fetishes, different kinks, and just sex in general. Because they, of course, talked about sex. The whole show was about sex, of course. And they, of course, had different people who went around doing different performances, like the vagina monologues and different things like that, doing poetry, like erotic poetry and all that kind of stuff. They showed some of that too. And like I said, they showed all kind of stuff, if you all know what that show is. If not, you may be able to search it and find it, I guess, on Netflix, or you know what, I have no idea if it's even on Netflix, but you may be able to find it somewhere in the old HBO catalog if you all have HBO or that kind of thing and can actually search it. But like I said, back then, of course, I was always interested in that kind of stuff. No, it doesn't mean that I did everything that was actually on the show with the furries and all this kind of stuff. No, it does not mean that, but I was always just interested in that. Because like I said, growing up, I didn't hear about any of those kind of lifestyles, hear about any of that, like different types of sex or anything along those lines. And of course, as I am a social worker, so I've been a social worker since I got out of college at the age of 21, 22. So, of course, working with all the different kinds of people, and, of course, educating some of the teen moms that I work with and that kind of stuff, teaching life skills classes for a little bit over 10 years. And like I said, some of that stuff is just like, okay, you all don't know about your bodies. I mean, like all these different things that's going on. And like I said, that's always just been something that's really, really been interested to me. Like I said, I've always said I want to teach those kind of things, like to put it that way as well, as you can probably tell from this video and other videos I've done in the past. But like I said, I definitely always had in the back of my mind that I've always wanted to, of course, teach about sex and have workshops and do all these things and talk about sex toys and sell all these things and do all this stuff. And like I said, that was one thing. The other thing was, of course, I want to help other folks, of course, learn more about their bodies. And, of course, like I said, the workshops and all that kind of stuff, to be more educated, like I said, about their bodies without and being able to talk about sex without being ashamed of it. And like I said, I know that I talked a little bit earlier about how some people that I've, of course, met and talked to were, of course, ashamed to come out because of their sexuality or whatever it was and talk about any kind of fetishes or kinks that they may have had or fantasies. And like I said, I definitely want to create people who are more sexually free, I guess I put it that way, free to, of course, be themselves and, of course, feel what they want to feel. And like I said, I do want to, of course, like I said before, with workshops and educating people, I have always wanted to do that. This is not just new or today. I'm telling you all this stuff today. Like I said, I've always wanted to do these things. And like I said, I have no idea. Some of it was fear in the past, of course, that kind of thing as well. And not feeling that I can, of course, get on video. We didn't have Facebook Live like years ago, back 20 years ago. Facebook was just coming out, I guess I put it that way. But like I said, I definitely, when I saw that show, I definitely wanted to make sure at some point that I was, of course, able to do something like that. Whether it was just the workshops, whether it was just, of course, teaching people about the sex, that kind of thing, what all's out there, having different interviews with different people and different lifestyles and doing different things and fetishes and kinks and all this kind of stuff. Like I said, that's what they did on that show as well. And they had retreats and all these kind of things. And like I said, that was something that I've always wanted to do. And like I said, I'm definitely at this present point in time, just to let you all know, trying to, of course, make that possible. I guess I'd say that. I also, like I stated before, I know that sometimes, well, a lot of times that the world can, of course, shun people who, of course, come out having different fetishes or come out with different lifestyles or all these kind of things. And I, of course, want to make sure that I'm providing information to, of course, help folks become more tolerant and inclusive of others who are practicing other lifestyles. And like I said, different orientations as well. And like I said, all these things combined all together, I've always known that, of course, if my parents, well, if they were in their right mind, sound body, that kind of thing, or any parent or adult that I was around, of course, they would be able to, of course, talk to me about sex when I was a kid, or let me know what it was, and let me know all these things when I was growing up throughout the years, instead of being so embarrassed by it. And like I said, that was definitely something that I wanted to, of course, imprint, I guess, in others' lives, I guess I can say that, in order for them to, of course, teach their kids about sex as well. No, you don't have to teach about BDSM and all these kind of things at 5 years old. I'm not talking about that, but just, of course, educating your family and your kids and your youth or whoever's in your household about sex and different things about their bodies, so they won't feel ashamed when they grow up and have all these taboo, feelings of guilt and shame and all that kind of stuff surrounding sex. And like I said, that's always been a dream of mine. I guess I'd say that, and something that I've always wanted to do. So I'm trying to see if that's it. Oh, and the last thing I wanted to say about talking about sex and having these sexual conversations and things like that, just know that our relationships will definitely suffer, and our health also suffers, as we know that there's high rates in certain communities, certain areas across this world that have high rates of STDs, STIs, and HIV and AIDS as well. So just make sure that you keep that in mind, that our relationships and our health suffers when we simply don't, of course, talk about sex, and we, of course, just keep silent. Like I said, we definitely have to keep that in mind when we're, of course, especially when you have young kids in the home, you have a partner, that kind of thing going on. Of course, not talking about sex, and especially with your partner, is going to cause a rift in your all's relationship. And of course, not talking about sex with your kids, your youth growing up, they're going to have the same, in my eyes, the cycle should not be repeated again with the next generation. It can't be, and it shouldn't be. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, at some point we have to realize that if we're not talking about sex, we're adding to the problem about the STIs and the teenage pregnancies and all these kind of things going on, because our kids are getting misinformation about things. They don't have the accurate information to even move forward in life, and they think this is right because their friends told them. It all should come from, I guess, from the parents and from the adults in these kids' lives. And like I said, that was always something that I've always grappled with, I guess I put it that way, especially since, of course, like I said, I'm a social worker and talking to these young teen moms between the ages of starting at 12, because I had a 11-and-a-half-year-old that was pregnant when I first started working for the state, of course, in foster care and that kind of thing, and on up to 30-some years old, actually. And of course, their parents, of course, you're dealing with and that kind of thing. But just, of course, talking to these young ladies and doing some of the life skills classes, talking about different topics and that kind of thing, and they just want to ask any questions out the blue sometimes, that kind of thing as well. Of course, I was talking to the city of St. Louis. One of the young ladies used to come and do some of our sex education classes. I used to ask for condoms, of course, lubes and dental dams and all that kind of stuff, so that I can, of course, have them in my office so the young ladies can come in there and get them. I can educate them a little bit, and that's what I used to do. And like I said, definitely just knowing that a lot of our youth and a lot of our adults even still don't know a lot about sex or how things work, or still, of course, embarrassed to talk about it with their partner, or scared to at least, of course, masturbate and all these kind of things, and scared of a sex toy and all these kind of things. Like I said, I definitely wanted to make sure I brought that education, like I said, education, information, and of course, inspiration to, of course, do something else and different to you all. So with all that being said, I just want to let you all know, I know, of course, this is, of course, a taboo conversation, as I said in the beginning, talking about sex and how we, of course, are shunned and don't want to talk about it and don't want to say anything about it, but we always want to do it. And like I said, I just want to let you all know, because I'm letting you all know first, of course, as you're in my group, but just to let you all know that, yes, there will be workshops. I guess I can tell you that. It won't be right today, but there will be workshops coming, of course, where you all can, of course, participate, be in the know, get the information, that kind of thing as well. And I'll let you all know as those roll out. I guess I say that as well. But also, one of the big things that I did on yesterday, and I know I said back when I was 20-some years ago, well, 20 years ago, I guess you could say, that I always want to have my own sex shop and do all these things. And of course, I don't have an actual physical shop as of today, I guess I put it that way. But I have become a consultant for Bedroom Candy. And if you all don't know who Bedroom Candy is, it's actually a company that by Candy Burris. She was one of the singers in Escape, and she's one of the housewives of Atlanta as well. And like I said, definitely she has a line of sex toys, She has also a candy coated line, which of course deals with the body, like lotions and shampoos and hair shampoos, body washes, makeup, and all those kind of things as well. So I just did that on, actually as of today, I'm officially, like I said, a bedroom candy consultant. So I do have my own small sex shop. I guess you could say that now. So like I said, I just want to make sure that you all knew about that as well, and to let you all know that I won't be demonstrating sex toys in the group at all. Of course, I will of course tell you about that kind of thing and show you what's of course in the line, that kind of thing as well. But I want to do more than that. Like I said, I definitely want to make sure that I'm showing you these things and talking about these sex toys, sex furniture, or whips, or whatever it is. Like I said, definitely to make sure that you all know that it's okay to talk about those things, and it's okay for you to of course use those in your bedroom. Like I said, in my mind, I see people as totally being free to do what they want, and free to, like I said, have whatever kind of feelings and have whatever kind of sex you want to have. Because I mean, I have had all kinds of, well, not all kinds, but various kinds of sex, I guess, as well. And like I said, I know how free I felt the first time I went to one of my first swinger parties, I guess I put it that way. That was actually back in my 20s, the first time I ever did anything like that, actually, just to see what it was like, I guess I put it that way. Of course, I was in a group for maybe about a year or so, that kind of thing. Went to various parties just to experience it, see what it was like. And I haven't done it since then, but that's okay. But like I said, I'm one who will experiment with a lot of things first in order to, of course, tell you all about them, that kind of thing as well. So like I said, definitely just be on the lookout for, like I said, for different information and education, like I said, about different things dealing with sex, sexual lifestyles, sexual orientations. I can't speak on all sexual orientations, but I will, of course, find guest speakers as well. We do have an awesome guest speaker who's going to be next month talking about some things as well, so I'll tell you more about that as the time gets closer. But like I said, definitely, just to let you all know that this will be, of course, a part of this group as well, the Bedroom Candy, just so that you all can know, of course, what's out there. And, of course, for those who may be embarrassed to go into a sex shop or to go buy sex toys, that kind of thing, just keep in mind that I'll be able to have them here for you. And, of course, like I said, to talk to them about you. And of course, there's parties involved and that kind of thing. So of course, I'm going to be asking some of you all to help me with my first party, just to let you all know, just so I can get some experience and that kind of thing as well, and selling the sex toys, and of course knowing what to say during these particular parties, because I have never been a consultant of this type, just to let you know. So I love going to sex shops, and I was just at one a few weeks ago, actually, right before Christmas and stuff like that. So buying different gifts for people and that kind of thing. So I mean, I've been to sex shops, I've never had my own. So like I said, this is definitely going to be, I'm sure, very, very fun, I'm sure, as well. But like I said, I will need some of you all, and I'll let you all know again tomorrow that I'm going to be setting up a party. It's free, of course, for anybody to attend, but like men and women, because this particular business does have men products as well, a lot of men products actually, from bath and beauty to sex toys as well. So like I said, I definitely will need you all's help, but I will definitely let you all know when that party is going to be, so that you all can be present. So, or some of you all can be present. I just need a few people. So I guess for some of you all to be present. And also, I'm ending to end this video. Like I said, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Nathan, Andre, and Karen, I hope you all are doing well. And for those that catch the replay, definitely enjoy. And let me know down below if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that at all. And I also want to remind you all that our Relationships Goals party, for those who have signed up, if you haven't signed up yet, is actually on the events tab in this group. So definitely make sure that you go get signed up. It's actually this Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, because I'm here in St. Louis. So definitely make sure that you all are getting signed up. And like I said, we definitely will have fun, I'm sure, that night, talking about, of course, and it's for couples and singles. So, of course, if you're a couple, if you're looking to, of course, create your vision for the next year with your partner, trying to create what you all want to do in your relationship, what you all want to see, what you all want to accomplish, definitely make sure that you're there. And for those singles who are looking to get into their next relationship, and if you're looking to, I guess, trying to figure out how you're going to do that, I'm not a guru of telling you you're going to have a man tomorrow, a woman tomorrow. No, the main thing about for the singles is making sure that you all, of course, write out your blueprint as far as what you want to do to, of course, work on yourself and to obtain your next partner. So like I said, definitely make sure that you're there. Like I said, the link for it is actually in the event section of this group. There's a link, and there's the first, I guess, like the first event for the year. Like I said, that's definitely on there, and it's called the Relationship Goals Party. And again, it will be this Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So I hope to see y'all there. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I hope that you all enjoyed the video of us talking about sex and just putting it out there as far as the different ways that, of course, in society, how we're raised and how our norms go, I guess I put it that way, and how it can hold people back sexually, I guess I put it that way. And like I said, definitely, like I just told you the story about how I've always wanted to sell sex toys and have all these sex workshops and do all these things, and I'm now making that possible, I guess I put it that way. I know I'm not the only one out there who, of course, is curious about sex still or have questions and want to learn. So like I said, definitely I'm glad that you all are here and glad that you all are part of this community. I know this may not be for everybody. I just want to say that again as well. Some may be very, of course, taken aback by the information, I guess I put it that way, and may not want to be in a group where you talk about sex or talking about different sexual lifestyles because their religion or their mom or whoever it was they grew up around said that it was only man and woman, that kind of thing. And like I just said a little while ago, I haven't did everything in the world, no. But like I said, I'm very open to, of course, different lifestyles and that kind of thing as far as whether I'm doing them or not, it does not matter. My main thing is I'm very accepting of everyone, I guess I put it that way, regardless of the sexual orientation that you are, regardless of your sexual lifestyle that you are, any kinks or fetishes, any of those kind of things as well. Like I said, I've always been an open person like that. I don't care what you tell me, what you say, what's going on. Nothing is usually shocking to me anyway. And like I said, I definitely appreciate all. And of course, like I said, I definitely welcome all. So I just want to make sure that you all knew that as well. So I know we may have some who may not be open to things like that or not want to hear about things like that. But like I said, I definitely am one who've always been interested in learning more, I guess as much as I can learn, like I said, about those different kind of things. So I just want to welcome you all, of course, again to this video and just say thank you all for tuning in. And for those who catch the replay, definitely enjoy. And like I said, if you all have any questions, put them down below. But definitely I would love to hear about what your experience was growing up, what your sexual education was from your parents, from your, I guess from school, from your church or whoever it was. Just kind of talk about it down below so I can hear some of you all's experiences. Some of you all may have gotten more sexual education than others, so we definitely want to hear about that. Excuse me. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Everybody have a great evening. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.